أي كنز أي جن أي مروف أي فينوسي خواي جواني جانكم داوايكم هيليت أكرم مسقالك أجواني كتم بيتين أكرم مسقالك أجواني كتم بيتين أما ميبوك تسيبا أما ميبوك تسيبا كتيزا بنير سالاري دموتاني شبا مشتك لارامي كتمرت مشتك لارامي كتمرت أما ميبوك تشلو خيب بخشم كتستيدا وتدست برزايا وخرندو شياني شي لقل توتا بيلا وكاني لو سنة وزيشتو أي جوان ترين جواني أي آرام تر لآرامي سنتالك تنها سنتالك لقشت مريت بيويست ما تابوني والصوت ما كي بيلعبا كوكسة زواني دواي بزور بشوداني قري لخوي برداز بيشتو تنها تنوتيك لدنكت بس أما ويد بو قيلك سي بخشم أما ويد بو قيلك سي بخشم كتوفاني عشيرة قراي لمعشوقك كي جاي كردوتا لكوتا يجدا خوت مويت لكوتا يجدا خوت مويت هيكس خوت مويت ايشا أما ويد بوضلي خومت بر أما يبوضلي خومت ببا تعلم نفرتي تنياي داد البيت أما يبوض زيهانت ببا تاكو باشتي وجواني تو لم الشر نكريس داد البيت سباس
That was incredibly emotional. I would like to introduce the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Kurdistan Hewler to come say a few words. Thank you.
Yaret Anvar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to University of Kurdistan Hewler. Today or tomorrow, we are celebrating a special day, which is International Women's Day, a day that acknowledges and celebrates women's achievement throughout history and across nations. Day for women's rights and international peace. International Women's Day, celebrated every year on March 8, recognizing and appreciating women's political, economic, and social achievements. Empowering women is very necessary to bring gender equality is very necessary to empower women. I believe that both men and women are responsible for everything of daily routine. For that, I would like to refer to some powerful statement made by women. Gloria Steinem said, "A feminist is anyone who recognizes the equality and full humanity of women and men." Malala from Pakistan said, "We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back." I think Malala, she was from Afghanistan. And Margaret Thatcher said, "In politics, if you want anything said, ask a man. If you want anything done, ask a woman." We in the Kurdistan region are celebrating two events in March 8th. The Women's Day and the National Day for Traditional Clothes. Regarding the women's right and their empowerment in Kurdistan, it's pride for all Kurds to have a woman in the highest and senior positions as we have today. We have a woman as a Speaker of the Kurdistan Parliament. The promotion of women's rights, a key objective of KRG headed by His Excellency Prime Minister. KRG, Kurdistan Regional Government, is experiencing transitional period and taking steps to emerge from era of oppression and enter an era of freedom and democracy. People will only feel equality and justice when KRG judicial system and courts support the right of all individuals, especially the women. On the International Women's Day, let's create a better world to live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. So, good afternoon to all our very welcome guests. Dr. Mokhtar, Dr. Philippe, deans, teaching staff, students, representatives from IOM, the Kurdish region government, the support from the United States of America's Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migrants, all our ladies and gentlemen, and our very special panel of ladies. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to share and celebrate this magnificent event International Women's Day 2019. The theme this year, Think Equal, Build Smart, Innovate for Change. The purpose of this event is to highlight the need for change worldwide. However, we live in Kurdistan, and that is our focus. The need for cultural change has to begin by the world thinking equal. This conference is not about feminism and has never been. It is about equality and the socio-economic empowerment of women in this region and Iraq. There is so much to think about with this subject, but the question is, how do we do it? Can I please ask our panel to come on stage and we'll begin the conference. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I hope that everyone is hearing that, right? Okay. So my name is Dr. Alicia Ahmed, and I am the Deputy Country Director for a charity, for an international charity called PLC, the Preemptive Love Coalition. We work in Iraq and Syria as well. And what I will share with you will give you an idea about what we do, a little bit of an idea about what we do. I'm honored to be in this panel among those amazing women, inspirational women. When I talked with the organizers and they told me who is in the panel with me, I was much honored. So thank you, and thank you for being here as well. I will base my whole statement or talk on one sentence only that I want you to remember during the day and to keep in mind. My sentence is that when a woman rises, she lifts everyone around her, not only just herself. And I want we always think why women need empowerment. And I will give you just a little bit, I know that a lot in the audience might know, but I will say why women need empowerment. Women need empowerment here in our society because of the society belief and perception about her. And the general idea that women are fragile and weak. And this general idea make the community and the society treat her likewise, and sometimes she treats herself likewise as well. And that creates the gender inequality that we were talking about just a second ago. In our society, sadly, women are either rejected, marginalized, because if they want to pursue education, career, or an idea in their mind. And that's where we come in. That's what we do. Empowering women through pushing them to pursue a dream that they have, through pushing them to continue education, build a career, grooming them, nurturing them to do the idea that they want to do, and to contribute better to the quota of the development of their country. In the developing countries in general, women are unable to contribute to that because they are marginalized and treated in an inferior way in most cases, sadly. But in my experience, and I know a lot of you will agree with me, that in a crisis, women's shoulder is the heaviest, hold the heaviest burden. But in reality, everyone thinks that the women in a crisis are a burden, but they are not. They are a force. We believe at PLC, and I'm sure that we all agree that when we are remaking the home of a woman, we are making the whole community. And that's what we believe. That's what we stand for. So that's why, for example, over 50% of all our empowerment projects are directed, all the funds and the grant directed to remake the businesses of women, help them to create businesses. Over 50% of all our work well project and students are women. And also over 50% 50% of our employees are women. As a woman, when women, and I'm sure that we all are aware, when women have fled ISIS, their husband died, they were the only, provider for the family. They were fighting for their kids to get to school. They were waiting in line under rain. And I have experienced that firsthand for years. I would go to camps for families, for IDPs and families who fled violence. And we were providing certain things. And I noticed the line all the time. And under the rain, under the sun, the burning sun, women are the ones who are waiting in line, not men. Even if they are there. Women are waiting, old ladies are waiting, and kids or girls are waiting in line as well. Today, I am the Deputy Country Director for the charity, for an international charity, PLC, the Preemptive Love Coalition. But in reality, without some of the most amazing women by my side, I'm nothing, I'm no one. Two of them are there in the crowd, Ines, Sarah, Lindsay, Jessica, Rachel, Virginia, Anna, Erin, and I can go forever. Because if they are not there by my side, I can do nothing. And that's why I am able to make the empowerment projects work and the process continue. And that's why, once again, when a woman rises, she lifts everyone around her, not just herself. I have 5 minutes, so I will share with you a small story. It's a story of Silva. Silva, she was a young girl, fled her country because of violence. She married young, had no family to support her. Her husband was abusive. She lived in the camp with no money. She cannot work, she has 3 kids. She always walked with her head low. She is that person who walked by the wall. We brought Silva and we gave her a job. Silva realized that she has a voice. She came and told me that she knows how to do stuff. So I got her supplies, I told her the process, and now she's making candles. She has a job. Today, Silva is a transformed woman. She smiles, she listens to songs, and she walks with her head held high. She brings income to the family, provides for her kids, and she's no longer begging for that. She's never abused now. Silva now is training 4 other women to do her job. And and that's what the impact that we are looking for. Yesterday she was abused, but today, when her husband trying to abuse her, yesterday she actually told me that, she said, that's what she does. So she is no longer abused and she will never accept it. She is empowered. And once again, and for the 3rd time, I will tell you, when a woman rises, she lifts everyone around her, not herself, not only herself.
Tava, Rasheed.
Well, I don't know if I can, your story is so powerful. I don't know if I'm going to be any close to yours. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here. My story is totally different. My story is just, My story is totally different. My story is basically, I left US and came to Kurdistan, and everybody, my family actually thought I was crazy, but I was in love with this place. I was in love with my people. My story, again, is not as powerful as hers. I work in the fashion industry in LA for years and years, and then after 18 years, when I decided to come back and visit this place, I thought there is a reason for me to stay here. Not only just, I have a fashion store, but I really meet women every day, and they write me, if it's through, social media, or they call me, and I reach out to them, try to help them, try to make them powerful, try to tell them my story, where I started from and how I made it here. It wasn't, easy, and it's never gonna be easy. I'm gonna tell you guys, it is not easy for women. We often face challenges where we get told we're not good enough, we're not beautiful enough, we're not smart enough. Even in the US, trust me, I even faced that over there too. When my family moved to the US in the 90s, my parents had everything here, but when we left, we lost everything. My parents had to start from zero. Seeing my parents work so hard to provide for us made me start working at the age of 14. I took any kind of job that I could. I never said no. I babysat. I worked at fast food, just name it. But then when I decided to tell my family that I wanted to go to fashion school, my parents were like, "Are you kidding me? We want you to be a doctor. We want you to be an engineer. We gave you such a good life, you know?" So I told them, no, this isn't what I want to do. And by the way, I grew up in Seattle. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Seattle, but Seattle is a very, everybody's into technology and stuff, and nobody cares about fashion or any of that. So I moved to LA by myself. I had a job. I went to school. I lived in a horrible apartment. Lived off top ramen, what do you guys call it here, Endomi? That was the cheapest. So, you know, I worked there, I made it, you know, what I call it, it was like my hustling years. I worked, made it, but then when I remember, I was like, you know, I don't know, this life, you know, I felt like a robot. I would wake up every morning and go to work, that was it, you know? But then when I came to Kurdistan, I felt there was something, oh my God, I'm around my people. These are my people, I don't feel like I'm a stranger, you know? Over there, I always felt like I didn't belong there. You know, even my sisters find it very strange that I say that, but truly, when I'm in my country, when I'm around these beautiful, powerful women that you guys have been through so much, you know, I still wake up and smile and laugh and everything, you know? One thing that I love, one thing that I have a store, I don't know if some of you guys know, I have a store in Erbil. So the one thing that I love about when I meet women, the three things that brings us together is we always talk about love, family, and fashion. That brings us together. No matter where we go, we can stand with each other, help each other, empower each other. We all have a story. Don't be ashamed, you know, when you have an idea or something, just, you know, you want to start a business, don't be afraid. You know, we live in such a great era. It's the social media era. At the tip of your finger, you can show people what services you have, what you can provide, what talent you have, and don't be afraid. You can just reach out, send messages. Hey, look, I'm doing this. Can I offer you this? Don't be afraid. Just do it. We live in such good era. I keep on telling people this is a different era. What women are known for are backstabbing each other, but this isn't the time. This is the time of getting together and, you know, collaborating with each other. And, you know, you might think I just, you know, have a store or whatever, but trust me, I get people send me messages all the time, tell me, oh, I wish I could do this, but my family won't let me. But yes, you can do it. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Thank you. Chnar Berwari, Head of Security, Constellis Security Company.
Hi everyone. I would like all the women to stand up right now, all of you please. All the women in this location stand up. Empty your hands please and clap. Applause for all the women in this hall, all around the world. We are the future. We can. We all can. Do not doubt yourself. We are women. Women. Please sit down again. So my story goes that many years ago, my mom and dad fled from Kurdistan. I'm born in a tent in a refugee center in Iran, Shiraz. And yeah, my destiny began from my my birth actually. We were refugees in Iran and later on in Syria, later on in Denmark. I grew up in Denmark and when I was in grade 8, until grade 8, I thought I would be a doctor. Yeah, we are 8 children and all my elder siblings, they were biochemic, biology, I don't know what. I was trying hard to be one of them, you know? But unfortunately, my math teacher, he pulled me up to the board to, I don't know, to do some math, whatever it was, and I totally lost it there. And he was, Chnar, I give you up in front of everyone. So my dreams were, I was, okay, what will I be then? But many, many years later, I worked as a reporter in Denmark, as the first Kurdish reporter in Denmark. I was pretty young, but I did it. Later on, I got a master's degree in international business communication. But as Tava said before, and I think all we women, we can acknowledge this, that women, we are hard. We are very hard to each other. My mom, she is a former Peshmerga who had battles with my dad in their early days. And she didn't acknowledge my master's degree because I was not a doctor, I was not an engineer whatsoever. But hey, today I'm running a company with 100 men working under me. You know, that's how we do it. And I'm very honored to be here today. And on behalf of all the women, single moms, fighters women, the Peshmerga women, the women who drives trucks, pick up, as I do by the way, and I love it, it's manual, on behalf of women who don't see a paycheck, but no one realizes how much these women are doing at home with the children, raising the children. I salute all of them, I salute all the women, and biji hami afratet kurda, biji hami afratet dunya.
Thank you. AC Robinson, journalist.
Good afternoon. My name is Alicia Robinson. Maybe some of you have seen me out and about. I've been a field reporter and journalist with Huda for the English website for the past 2 years. But just within the last month, I've made a transition to an organization, which I'm proud of. To tell you a little bit about my background, I'm from America. I'm from Oklahoma. Has anyone ever heard of Oklahoma, or you know where it is? Yeah? Great. Most people, when I say I'm from Oklahoma, they have no idea where it is, so I have to say I'm from Texas. So that gives you a general idea. Ethnically, I come from an Irish and Native American heritage. Yes. Thank you. I grew up between Oklahoma and Texas, coming from a very poor family. And when people think about Americans, they think of America as a rich country where everything is easy and at your disposal, but that's not necessarily the case. There were times where my mother was, cooking dinner for us over a fire. We had no electricity, we had no heat in the wintertime. So I always thought to myself, and my mother always pushed education on me. It's important, Alicia, you must get your degree, you must get your education so that you can go somewhere and do more than myself. My mother was a construction worker, believe it or not. She built houses. So, going back a little bit, from Oklahoma, my hometown, you would consider a small village here in Kurdistan, had a population of 700 people. Very, very small. I had always been kind of considered the black sheep of the family, so to speak. And when I was 18 years old, one day after I graduated high school, I took off. I loaded up my car and I drove out of my hometown, and I basically didn't look back. Since that time, I've held many different titles. Of course, daughter, student, wife, mother, world traveler, human rights activist, teacher, and finally journalist. And with the exception of being called mom by my son, who's now 22 years old, being called a humanitarian is a title that is dearest to my heart. Humanitarian, of course, is defined as a person who seeks to promote human welfare. This can be done in many ways, whether it is working with an organization like United Nations or Doctors Without Borders, helping people who cannot otherwise afford health care, maybe distributing food to people who cannot afford to eat. And it can even be a person who's walking down a New York City street and puts $1 into the cup of a homeless person. So it was during university that I started meeting people from around the world. A lot of people from the Middle East, and I met refugees as well. And I heard these stories of refugees. And even though I had grown up poor, I still couldn't imagine how some of the refugees survived and how they carried on. And so I kind of made it my lifelong dream. Maybe it was a crazy dream at the time that I wanted to work with United Nations. I wanted to travel. I wanted to help people. Thank you. So, skipping forward a little bit, in 2008, I was a newly divorced mother. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I moved to South Korea. I lived there for 7 years as a teacher. And I started my volunteering there. I started volunteering to help North Korean defectors in the orphanage. And I started traveling around the Middle East as well. I did volunteer work in refugee camps, Palestinian refugee camps, and later on in Jordan. I worked for about 5 months in Jordan, not worked, but volunteered there, helping refugees from Iraq, from Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and that brings me to Erbil. Since I couldn't find a good paying job there in Jordan, I started reaching out to other countries, and I was offered a job to first come teach here in Erbil. Automatically, I fell in love with the place. I really can't explain why. Very quickly, unfortunately, I was only here for about 4 months because my mother became ill with late-stage cancer. So I had to return to America, and within 48 hours, my mother passed away. But even being in America, I couldn't get Erbil out of my head. I wanted to come back, and I wanted to make a change here somehow. So I did come back. I worked as a private teacher, and then I volunteered in Mosul during the fight against Daesh, and then I was hired at Huda. And for me, this was like a dream job, because even though I wasn't out in the field physically helping people, at least I could tell their stories. And this is something that was important to me. I've been to political refugee camps where I've spoken to Iranian Kurdish people who have no way to travel. I've spoken to ISIS survivors in the Yazidi camps around Dahuk. And many more people who are refugees or IDP from Syria or IDPs here in the country. And even though like I said, I couldn't physically help them, at least I could tell their stories. And I hope to reach Americans, because a lot of people around the world, they don't know about Kurdistan. They don't know the beauty of Kurdistan. They don't know how Kurdistan has helped people from other countries and from within Iraq. So I wanted to tell these stories, whether they were good or bad, to let people know. It did come back to me one day that a Kurdish friend of mine in Canada, he messaged me and said, there's a friend I know, and he read one of your articles about a political refugee, the political refugees living in camps. He's a millionaire. He wants to help these people. So to me, that was a big step. I was very thankful that it had reached someone, and I wanted to make change in that way. So I'm going to continue. I want to continue to work with refugees in this way. Hopefully in the future, United Nations is still out there and other humanitarian organizations that I hope to work with.
Excellent.
And
Thank you.
yeah, that's pretty much
Thank you, Alicia.
what I can say. I just have one more thing that, although my mother passed away, I have to say thank you to her, because she was one of the strongest women I have ever met. She taught me from a young age to love and respect all people, no matter where they come from, to be strong in every situation, and above all, surviving the odds that any society can place against you as a woman, and not let that hold you back. Follow your dreams, whatever they are. Thank you.
Just before we move on to the next guest, just going on quickly what Alicia just said, against all odds. If you can all see the pieces of paper on the fronts of women, and they're all behind you. This is an art exhibition called Against All Odds. These women whose pictures were taken are now in a shelter here in Erbil, who against all odds have survived the most horrific that nobody should ever do, no human being should ever have to endure. So just following on from that, so thank you very much, that against all odds we are survivors, thank you. So moving on to Huda. Lala candles.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be here for the second time. I will be sharing a story with you. My name is Huda. I am a graduate of UKH, proudly. I received my BA degree in UKH. I also received my master's degree here again in 2017 in politics and international studies. So I am a proud UKH. I currently work for one of the very well-reputed international organizations in Kurdistan as a project manager. And I am the owner of a very lovely business called Lala Candles, which is the first candle making business in Kurdistan. Thank you. I will be sharing a very little story with you. In 1996, when I was around 5 years old, it was during the time when Kurdistan was going through very hard time and sanctions. And my parents, like any other parents, they decided to leave Kurdistan. They decided to sell everything in the house, although the house wasn't ours, but everything in the house we owned, so that we have enough money to leave Kurdistan and go to Europe to have a better living and better future. So they called a man to our house. He came to estimate what everything in the house cost, and we sell. And with my father, he agreed with the man to sell everything. Then, before the man takes everything to the truck, there was that blue Kurdish-made blanket of mine, a mini blanket. We call it lifa, or lif. So that was very mini and very special to me. When I saw it on the stuff, I started to cry. I said, please don't take that. The man couldn't resist the fact that a little child is crying for a blanket. Sorry. So he couldn't resist, and he said, don't worry, little girl, this is a gift from us to you. Sorry about that. So he gave me the blanket, and I was so happy. Later in the same evening, I stood in front of the window in the kitchen, thank you, and I looked in the sky. It was around timing of Isha Adhan, a prayer call. So my mom came and told me, Huda, you are a very pure child. Please pray that God will help us to reach our destination safely. And instead, I looked up into the sky. I said, please God, let us help us to buy a house and stay here. And indeed, that happened. All the plans for traveling to Europe canceled, and we bought a house instead, and we stayed here. So my love to my land was, I think, since that time, as a child. Years passed, things changed, everything changed, but my love for Kurdistan never changed. For the culture itself. Despite all the very hard circumstances me and my family and all the Kurds went through, we worked hard. Anyways, years passed. I studied, I worked hard in university. I graduated. I am still working. In 2017, and specifically on October 2017, which was a very difficult time of Kurdistan going through, I decided to establish a mini business. It was just out of a hobby that I want to have my own business to promote the Kurdistani culture, to tell people what we have, how beautiful things we have here, and how women can do things. So I established Lala Candles, which is a candle making business that promotes the Kurdistani culture. Through it, I tell stories to people. Gladly, from a girl who lived that story, I am today the reason, let's say my business is the reason to employ 3 women now. And only in 1 year and a half, Lala Candles became the reason to employ 3 women and to have 3 selling points in Hewler and also sell online and promote the culture. I am very proud of this. Why? Because I did not accept to be a victim of any situation. I don't accept that. If the situation, the environment makes me a victim, I don't accept it. I stood still, I worked hard, and with the support of my family, very lovely friends, and very amazing people, I surrounded myself with them. Today, I own a little business that I am dreaming to make it the first candle making factory in Kurdistan. Yes, that is the dream that I am working for. And through my story, I only want to share this message to all women. I want to tell them, please do not victimize yourself and put yourself in that bubble and make yourself weak, because that will keep you away from things you want to achieve, and you will block your way from achieving your dreams. So do not victimize yourself, work hard, study, educate yourself, because that is the most important thing, education, and go ahead with what you have on your mind to make your dreams come true. Thank you.
Jalal, founder of Dali Designs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to IOM and University of Kurdistan Hewler for hosting us. I'm so proud to be on the panel with these strong ladies over here. My name is Daria Jalal Ali. I am the founder of Dali Designs. Some of you might seen it downstairs and in other events in Kurdistan University. I design jewelries that promote Kurdish culture. I am born and bred in Slemani city. I was from a little neighborhood called Barana. I finished my school education in public school, and I was lucky enough to have encouraging, supportive parents to send me to a good college. I graduated from the American University in Slemani, majoring in international studies. I know, international studies and Dali designs, but it is what it is. I started working after that in companies for 3 years. Had a lot of success, a lot of experience, but I always had the urge to start my own business, to start something that I am really passionate about. So here I am sitting, trying to find connection between international studies, which is something that I like, but then there's something that I really love and passionate about, which is fashion and designing. Did I find a connection? I really didn't. Did I get support? I did a little bit. Did I start? Yes, I did, because I believed in myself. I really believed in my vision. I believed that I can create something authentic and original. I took a leap of hope, and I started my goal. The first collection that I made were some tasseled earrings that people went crazy for it, and I sold out in a week, and that really encouraged me to create more and more, to bring so many materials, that Kurdish materials that we have, into life, and to reintroduce it to the new generation that don't know about these materials anymore. When I think about Dali designs, I don't think about it just as a business that makes money. I think about it as a revival of a culture. I think about it as I want to revive the culture that the materials that we had in the past, and bring it to present, and make sure that it will be alive in the future. My goal is to have Dali in Kurdistan, in Iraq, in Europe, all over the globe. And I am not that far away from that dream, since I'm selling worldwide, delivering all worldwide, and have a selling point of our beautiful Qazwan pieces in the Netherlands right now, selling. When I put the Qazwan pieces, I had one condition to the shop in Netherlands, that I have to share what is Qazwan, and that it belongs to Kurdistan. Thank you. 1 year and a half, I kept using social media. I kept benefiting from it. I kept getting followers and supporters, and I was lucky enough to have encouragement of women around me, and that's what ignited me, and that's what kept me going. Two of them are sitting right next to me, Huda and Tafan. Deshne Murad, who was a really big encouragement for me, and some of them might be in the crowd, Sazan Mandalawi, Roja. They have encouraged me, and let me not forget about the men who encourage us, who elevate me through my journey. Dali Designs is just most of it are collections for women. However, I receive messages and support from men on social media. I have to thank my husband, who really encouraged me, and who is the one who made me go for my dream and do something that I am really passionate about.
Thank you.
I've had great success, but I'm not quite there yet. I have a long way to go. I have a lot of things to achieve. However, I am lucky enough that the men that I talked about, the women that I mentioned, these people made a right ecosystem for me that I have no excuse but to make it, make my dream come true. What else I have to say? Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day to all of us. Again, thanks to IOM and UK Edge for hosting us in this beautiful event.
Thank you very much. And finally, the beautiful Tafan Hamakhan. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, I do apologise. Tafan Director of Decorum Company.
Hello everyone, I'm Tafan Hamakhan, the owner of Decorum Company. We do business consultation at Decorum. I would like to warmly welcome every gentleman here for the Women's Day because we are...
Absolutely.
If we want to get equality, we have to stand together and work together.
Stand up.
As long as I'm always trying to motivate our youth community, so that I will switch my speech to Kurdish because the video will be shared on social media page, so that I would like to speak in Kurdish. من نام تافان حمخانة خواني كومباني ديكوروم وقصة كانم كرد بكردي لبروي أزامكم ولا جنجي زور باشان لكردستان بلام لإنجليزية كمان تناجن بوي حزكم بكردي قصبكم ودوايشن فيديو السوشيال ميديا بلا كريتا بوي أوان زيادة موتيفيت بنو زيادة جيلان ليفت وتبكن لي من لكوليجي زانس بشي كمبيوتر مخان دولا زانكوي سليماني دوای تخرج کردنم لازانکو لکۆمپانیایەکی ئینتەرناشنال دەستم بەکار کرد بۆ ماوەی 2 ساڵ و نیو لەوێ کارم کرد لە چەند دیپارتمنتێکی جیایە دوای کارکردنم لەوێ لە ماوەی کارکردنەکەمان لەوێ دبلۆم خوێند لە Human Resources Management بەڕێوەبردننی سەرچاوەڕێیەکان پاشان حەزم کرد ئەوەی لەوێ فێر بووم لە کۆمپانیایەکی ناوخۆیی یا تەطبیقی بکەمەوە و خزمەت بە کۆمپانیایەکی ناوخۆیی بکەم بۆیە بڕیارمە لە کۆمپانیایە کار بکەم وەک بەڕێوەبەری مارکێتینگ لەوێ ستۆریەکە لێرە دەست پێکا کە چۆن شەریکەکەی خۆم دانا دوای ئەوەی کە ساڵێک لەوێ کارم کرد بڵێن عەقدەکەم بۆ ماوەی ساڵێک بوو وتم دوای ساڵەکە قەرارێم کە ئایا بمێنمەوە لێ یاخود ئیشەکەی خۆم بگۆڕم دوای ئەوەی کە ساڵێک لەوێ ئیشم کرد ئەکید هەموو کەسێک لە هەموو شوێنێک لە هەموو ئیشێکەوە شتێک فێرە بێ زۆر شت لەو شوێنە فێر بووم و زۆر خۆش بوو ئیشکردنم لەوێ بەڵام دوای کە عەقدەکەم کۆتایی هات من نەویست زیاتر بەردەوام بم لەبەرەوەی حەقم زۆر خراپ بوو لەو شوێنەیە کە ئەوەی کردبوو وەرم نەگرت بوو بۆیە بڕیارم واز بێنم کە وازم هێنا ساحیبی و شوێنە نەیویستم واز بێنم کە نەیویست واز بێنم هەرچی حەقم مابوو لەو شوێنە هیچی نەیامەوانێ کە من زۆر ناخۆش بووە من چەند جارم حاڵی کرد من بگەڕێمەوە من نەمەویست بگەڕێمەوە چونکە بەڕاستی حەقەکەم خراپ بۆچی من بڕۆمەوە شوێنێک ئیش بکەم و چەندێکە ئیشم کردو و حەقی خۆم وەرنەگرتم پاشان کەوتە هەڕەشەکردن لە من جنێوی ناشرینی پێیان هەڕەشەی لێ کردم کە ئەبێ بە زۆر من بگەڕێمەوە سەر کارەکەم لەبەرەوەی ئیسفادێکی زۆری لە من کردبوو ئیشی مارکێتینگ پارەهێنانە بۆ ناو شەریکەکە پارێکی زۆر هێنا بۆ ناو شەریکەکە بۆ ئیشێکە کردبووم کەوتە هەڕەشەکردن زۆر ناخۆش بووم من چونکە من زۆر هیلاک بووم بۆ ئەو شوێنە ئیشم بۆ سمعی ئەو شوێنە کردبوو بۆچی لە دوای هەموو ئەو ئیشە هەم پارەکەشم بخورێ هەم هەڕەشەشم لێ بکرێ قسەی ناشرینیشم پێ بکرێ بڕیارم کە نەگەڕێمەوەنێ و گوێم بە هەڕەشەکانی ئەوان نەیە بەڵام بۆ 2-3 مانگ دانیشتم زۆر محاولە کرد بە قسەکردن کە حەقی خۆم بگەڕێنەوە بم بەڵام نیان کرد منیش نەمویست زیادە 2-3 مانگ هەردا بنیشم و هیچ نەکەم کەیسەکەم خستە محکەمە ئەمە بۆیە باسەکەم لێرەیە بۆ ئەوەی هەر کەسێک هەر غەدرێکی لێکرێت دڵنیام من یەکەم کەس و ئەخیر کەس نیم کە غەدرێکی لێکرێ بێدەنگ نەبیت و لە شوێنی خۆت دابنیشیت و خەفەتی پێ بخۆی من ڕاستە 2-3 مانگ خەفەتم پێ خوارد بەڵام دوای ئەو هەستاوە سەر پێی خۆم خستمە محکەمە لەبەرەوەی ئێمە یاسامان هەیە محکەمەمان هەیە بۆ ماوەی ساڵێکیشە لەناو محکەمەیە و تاکو 10 ساڵی تریش بێ من هەر بەردەوامە بم لە کەیسەکەم بۆچی لەبەرەوەی لەبەرەوەی تافان حەقی خوراوە بەڵکو لەبەرەوەی هیچ شەریکێکی تر و هیچ شوێنێکی تر نەتوان حەقی هیچ ئینسانێک بخوا کە بۆیان خۆش بوو حەقی منیان خوار ئەتوان حەقی تۆ هەموو ئەو کەسانی تریش بخۆن لەبەرەوە من لە کەیسەکەم بەردەوام بووم هەموو ئەو پارەیەشی کە وەرێگرتمەوە لە محامیا سەرفەکەم بۆی حەقی هیچ کەسێکی تر نەخورێت لەمەوەدەوە دوای ئەوە بڕیارم ما کە شەریکەی خۆمدا بمەزێنم لەبەرەوەی زۆر حەز لە کاری مارکێتینگ بوو هەموو ئیشەکەم ئەزانی و ئەمزانی کە چۆن بیکەم و خوێند بووم بۆی هیلاک بووم پێوەی ئیشم لەسەر کردبوو بۆیە بڕیارم ما کە کۆمپانیای دیکۆرم دابنین بۆ بزنس کۆنسەڵتیشن و ستراتیژیک پلانی مارکێتینگ دابنین بۆ شەریکاتەکان الحەمدولله وا نزیکە بووینەوە لە ساڵێک ئیشەکان زۆر باش هەروە تیمێکی باشم هەیە و چەند شەریکێکی زۆریش هەن کە ئێمە ئیشیان بۆکەین هەم لە کوردستان هەم لە بەغداد هەم لە دەرەوەی عێراقیش و وإن شاء الله زيادة البردوام بين وإما ببوني أو شركاني كإشي عم بوكين بردوامين شو كأن سبورتي ما كان راسته إما بشيكين لسركوتني آن وناس عندني براند وخدمة جزاركاني آن بجاب ظلام إما مش جورا بين لقال كاركردن لوانا أوي أكين إما هم بلاني ماركتينج كداني خمان تطبيقي شيء كينوانا like video advertisement دروستكين لتلفزيون كان بلانا كينا social media management كين بشركات كان brand management بعم أكين كشوينك براند كتازم دروسكا لدروس كردنينا و identity بول براند كان هم يعني أحمديانين ويب سايت دروستكين بويان زور شو هم كلا بداية دروس بنيانا وتاكو أكونا بازار إما يرمتيان أينو كردو معنا واستجب بني روجي جهاني جلانا سپورت تو سپانسری چند خانمک من کردو که لخوار روش بر همکانی اندام رابون چند خانمکی زور دست رنگین هبون به ایش بون با امزانی بحریان تیایا نه أنا زاني كشيب كان بيستي عم بباربو من يشوتم إيوه مادام أو بحرية تانتيا بي كان بعيش من بوت أنا كم ببرانديكو يعمل تاني ملفروش نوكيا بيجي ماندانا بيان بناوي كتان بيجي كتان همو إيشا دستيكاني أو خان ماليتيا ولا خواروش إيشا كان عندنا راهي وعدارم كفرون اللي عم تكرنو بوي تشجيعك بكو جنانو كزي عطر بردوام بنو إيشا كان يخوان تكن زور سباس.
Wow, what an amazing group of ladies we have on the stage. We just have a few questions. And I'm going to ask Chnar, first of all, please. You said that you have 100 men working underneath you. Have you ever had any conflicts in the workplace because you are a woman? And how did you get through this discrimination?
Hello?
Yeah.
Well, somehow during all my life I have been pulled into a man-dominated world. I mean, I remember with my father, who passed away unfortunately 2014, when I was a little girl, he took me and forced me to all these political conferences, political meetings, you know. So I'm kind of used to men. I grew up with them. And 2013, when I moved to Kurdistan, yes, I worked in a security at that time as well, but I wasn't that high in my position. High, but not that high as I'm right now. And then 2015, I joined the Peshmerga forces, and I was afraid because I thought that these are men and I'm the only woman. I had all kind of things in my head, you know, that they might look down on me, they might not accept me, but Jesus Christ, you know? Wow, I mean, I was not only their sister, I was equal with them. Fighting side by side with my brothers, you know, it was amazing. And at the moment where I am on a very high level in this company, I have some, how should I say it? It surprised me a little because it's not the Kurdish men who how should I put it? Yeah, it's not the Kurdish men who won't take an order for me. It's the bloody European man. You know, I totally changed. I mean, I was like, what's happening here? You know, so sometimes, yes, there will always be, you know, and I'm not a very easy lady. I'm a very hard, I know, but I believe that women, especially women, بو همو کچکان و ئافرەتەکان هەرچیتان پێویستە لە ژیان ڕێگای خۆتان مەگرن چونکە ئەو ئیرادەی خۆتانە کە بێتان وێ ژیانی خۆتان بیکەن. A lot of, I know, I'm one of them, I've always been interested in security, army, whatsoever, but it didn't stop me to get my goals. دەزانم زۆر کچ هەیە حەز دەکات بێتە لە ناو ئەمنیەت و سکیوریتی و شتەوەهایی بەس لەوانەیە مەجالی تێنیە لەوانەیە ناتانێت لەوانە لەبەر ماڵەکەی لەوانە زۆر لەوانە هەیە بەس خدمك يعني برون بسيار كان go seek information about it, and when you have information and you have the will, you can do it as a woman, as a girl. Believe me, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. One more.
Because I live here, it feels amazing. It feels very good and very strange, because I feel confidence. This socio-economic independence, it gives me confidence, and it makes me feel and know that I am equal to my husband in managing the house, in providing the living for both of us. So we both do the same thing, so it feels amazing. Yeah, it feels very good.
Thank you.
I mean, it shouldn't be a strange thing.
No.
It shouldn't be something new. I mean, now we have social media, and there's people. It's easier for us to get our voice out there. But I'm sure before us there were some women who were single mothers, and they helped their household. They helped their husband before us. I'm sure there was something like that. But now we have the right platform to send our voice and encourage other women to do that. But yes, for sure, it felt amazing.
Thank you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll say, put your hands together for these amazing women. We're going to just have another musical piece by Alpak and Mustafa. Ladies, if you'll stay on the stage. I haven't got time, I'm afraid. Sorry. Yeah, ladies, if you'll stay on the stage, that'd be fantastic. If anybody's got questions that they'd like to ask the ladies, I'm sure that they would be open for discussion afterwards. Thank you. Alpak and Mustafa, thank you.
خۆگەر قەلە ڕەشکەی مێ وەکو نەورەس خۆگەر قەلە ڕەشکەی مێ وەکو نەورەس عەباکەی فڕێ بدات و چۆنەکەی دایکە لە دەن و کاژنی چۆنەکەی باوکە یاخی بێ حاجی لەقلەق یەک حاجیەشنی هەبێ نەک چوار ئەگەر تەوارەکان وەک هەڵۆکان ئەوانیش بە شەو بێنە دەرەوە و کلیلی دەرگای حەوشە بە خۆیان بێ و ماکەوەکان بەدڵی خۆیان شوو کرد ئەگەر ماکەوەکان بەدڵی خۆیان شوو کرد بە زۆر نەیان دەن بە نێرەکەوە پیرەکان ئەو ساکەی تر ئاسمان و فڕین لشعري منها زور جوانتر سباس.
And as we come to the end of this evening, all you women feel so incredibly special because you are. And we've actually got some gifts for our guests. And Miss Vanya, Miss Tafan, Miss Memelan, Miss Guy, all who helped to put this wonderful conference, Miss Roja, all this beautiful conference together and the artwork. I want to give a massive thank you to all the artists. An even bigger thank you to the women for sharing their stories, and please mill around afterwards. But what I'd like to thank, and finally, I'd just like to say, women, remember, be strong, be courageous, love yourself, and know that you can do all things because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you. Miss Fanny, Miss Roja, Miss Memelan, Miss Guy, everybody, would you like to come up here, please? Thank you. On behalf of the university, thank you very much. And there's one for me. So thank you to all of you for attending, for giving up your very, very busy schedules, and just remember that we are all equal. Thank you. Good afternoon.